Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Paige, this is Seeking Alexandria, and guys, it's time for an April month end favorites. I love these videos so much because it gives me a chance to really sit down with you guys in a super informal, fun kind of way. We chit chat about stuff I've been loving out of all the stuff I've tried in the last month or so. What have I been reaching for, gravitating towards? Some of this stuff might be painfully obvious to you if you watch a lot of my videos or if you follow me on Instagram. I talk a lot about it there. So you might just be hearing this stuff a couple of times, and I'm sorry for that, but I love these videos. They are truly some of my favorites to film. So we're gonna get right into it with a mist I've been loving. This is the Farsali Rose Gold Skin Mist. Guys, this mist is so good. Now the smell I don't love. It's a little bit pungent, a little bit like stale to me. That's what it reminds me of, just like a stale spray. But the effect of this on the skin is breathtaking. The way that it settles and sinks and almost has this like oily feel. Now keep in mind, I am normal to oily, so when I go in with this spray, girl, I have to use a light ass hand. Like one spray this side, one spray that side. That is all I can use of this mist. Now if I'm feeling very dry, I can go in before I do foundation and spray my face twice with it as a kind of like a prep situation before foundation, just to help everything meld a little bit nicer. But as far as after foundation, one squirt one side, one squirt the other, and I am done. Now, I made this comparison a couple of times between the Catrice Dewy Glow Setting Spray, this guy over here, super affordable drugstore, amazing spray. As a normal to oily skin girl, I can use this one probably like 4 squirts on the face. This one I can only use 2, so it's like double the effect of like the dewy, the glowy, the hydration, the oily feel on the skin. And I'm not mad at that because I do feel like this is such a great product and I can tailor it for my more normal to oily skin. But if you have dry skin, this is something I feel like is so beautiful and dewy and over the top that even if you are on the dry spectrum, go in lightly and kind of get used to the product first, because when I first started going in with it, I was like, oh yeah, and I mean, I was just going ham with it, having a great old time, and I looked like a big old cheeseburger in like an hour and a half because my face was just so over the top, dewy, glowy, stuff was breaking apart. I had foundation coming out my face, foundation going all over the place, and it was just not a good situation. Because y'all, I had oil coming out my pores, I had oil coming out my face from this spray right here, I had all kinds of stuff just going all over, and my foundation just like literally repelled off my face. My foundation was like, girl, peace out, no thank you, there's too much oil, I cannot exist on this face. And I don't feel like that's something that's been talked a lot with this spray, is really like the oil factor or that dewy factor to it, because out of all the sprays I have used, and y'all know I have used a ton, whether it was the Too Faced Do You spray or this spray or other, I mean literally every spray in the world, the Morphe Prep and Set, doesn't matter. This is by far the dewiest, glowiest, most oil type spray that I have ever used, that if you are going for a glowy look, if you really have that normal to dry skin and you want to glow your face, your world, your existence up, this is it. All right, so next up we have a concealer I've been loving, breathing, dying, gagging for. Too Faced Born This Way concealer in the shade Swan. I have used this so much, you guys. I know they recently released some more shades of it, and I cannot wait to pick up the lightest shade and keep playing with it, keep testing it out. But for now, I use the shade Swan, and I recently bought this again after I was probably out of this for like 3 or 4 months. I had bought a bunch of my Tarte Shape Tape in porcelain beige on sale. I think the Tarte website, I want to say, had a sale on this, and so I stocked up. I bought like 4 of them, and I told myself, you can't buy another one of these until you use up these, because like obviously we need to be good with our products. We don't need to be wasting over here, especially like whether or not you get it for free is irrelevant. You don't want to be wasteful. And so I used up most of these. I think this is actually the last tube I have left, and so I let myself buy this, and I have been loving it so much. The coverage is beautiful. The way it sits on the skin is stunning. Now, concealer, much like foundation, is one of those really personal items for a lot of people. I personally have never had a day where this looked anything but beautiful on my skin. It always has a nice, natural, leaning luminous, like just a little doop toward the luminous direction, but for the most part, just a very beautiful, natural, stunning look to my under eye. Now with the Tarte Shape Tape, this has on occasion leaned dry on my under eye, which is pretty common. There's a lot of people out there that say this makes them look dry, cakey, awful, and it's not something that I have happened a ton, but it has happened a couple times in the past. Now with this one, I have never once had that myself personally, but some of you have actually mentioned in the comments, I've noticed, that this does make your under eyes look dry and cakey. So something to consider. If you want to give it a go, just always remember that foundations and concealers and mascaras, those are the 3 things for me that are very personal, to each their own. Like your skin, your lashes, how does your skin hydrate, what does it react to, what ingredients does it like versus not like. There's a lot of that happens with concealers as well as foundations, and I feel like that fact is overlooked a lot. And so just know that I would never recommend something to you guys that hasn't worked out tremendously for me, and I've purchased this time and time again. This is probably overall my 3rd or 4th bottle of it. Overall, such such a beautiful concealer, full coverage, natural finish, like everything about this for me is just it. I love it so much. All right, so next up, we're gonna dive into a product that I will tell you straight up, I never thought I'd like it, never thought I'd use it, never thought I would sure as hell put it in a love video, the Chanel Soleil Tan Bronzer. This is so beautiful. I first debuted it in my Scott Barnes video, which I will link up here. If you guys didn't see the technique he did on Tarte, it was such a beautiful glowy ass look. And so the point of my video was to take the technique he did and apply all of that to a daytime wearable look and see if it's something that maybe we could critique and work for day-to-day makeup and have it last all day, because obviously what he did on Tarte, honey, that's not going to look good in real life. It's not going to last on the skin. And so I wanted to take his technique and see if I could do all of those things, and I did, and it looks beautiful. So if you want to check that out, I will make sure it is linked for you. But this bronzer, I continue to use it. It is so gorgeous. The way it sits on the skin, it buffs in seamlessly. You can go in really light, you can build it up nice and deep, you can do a ton. Now, I haven't seen that there's more shades of this that expand into the deep skin tones, which for me, that's a huge bummer. You guys know I'm all about skin tone inclusivity, so it really does bother me that there are not more shades of this available, at least not that I have seen. If there are and I just don't know about it, please feel free to leave it down below. But this is such a beautiful emollient bronzer, the way it sits on the skin, and I love the way that you kind of dig in here. I go in with a brush, swirl it around, and then hit the perimeters of the face, and I just never thought in a million years something like this, which is a cream bronzer, would be so perfect the way it sits on the skin. And looking at it in swatch, you're like, wow, Paige, are you going for orange, like brown, carrot, bad tan kind of vibes? But I'm telling you, the way that it buffs into the skin is so flattering and so natural on the contours of my skin. I was so terrified. Out of all the products I've used in the last probably 3 or 4 months, this is the one I was like, oh my God, absolutely not. And I'm pleased to tell you now more than ever, I love it. I can't wait to have it with me going into summer. It is a pretty penny, so something to consider there, but if you want to splurge and you want to give it a try, my pasty ass absolutely loves this. And I also love too the finish of it. Like, now that it's dried down, it has such a nice light luminescence to it. It doesn't dry down matte, it doesn't dry down and be like super shiny or anything. It just has a nice natural bronze appeal to it, which is so beautiful because the way it pairs with multiple foundations across the board is stunning yet again. And I just, guys, I love it. I love it. I can't say enough good things. Okay, so next up we're going to talk about the foundation of April, L'Oreal True Match in Classic Ivory N2. Guys, when I tell you I wore this every single day, I am not kidding. Unless I was testing another foundation, I was wearing this. It didn't matter if I was doing a photo shoot, day-to-day wear, glam makeup, whatever the case was, this was my jam. Now for me, on my scale of perfection, this was giving it all to me. The only thing this is not is full coverage right out the gate. You can build it up to a nice medium to full, but you're not gonna reach like completely full to where it covers all of my really red hyperpigmented issues. But other than that one small issue, builds up beautifully, lasts on the skin, fills in the pores, settles and sinks in, looks like second skin, feels like natural skin on your face, not heavy, not cakey, doesn't get heavy or cakey, and I don't have anything bad to say about this. I applied it with a brush, I've applied it with sponges, multiple different primers, different powders, and I feel like every single time I wear this, my makeup just looks so beautiful. Guys, if I had to guess, I would say I've probably used up almost half this bottle in like a month and a half's time because it's so good. Now, I first used this, debuted it on my channel in a full face, I want to say of New Drugstore, which I will link up here for you guys. And ever since that video, I just have been loving this so much. I don't have any negatives to it, and the shade range is beautiful. The only thing I would say is that I've been wearing N2 Classic Ivory, but I'm pretty sure I should go with N1 because it's a little bit lighter in color. I feel like this does oxidize like a freckle and makes it just like slightly too dark on me. But again, beautiful foundation, sits and sinks beautifully into the skin. I would recommend this time and time again. And like, I don't think I've loved something this much since I fell in love with my Dior Forever. That's the kind of love we're talking about here. So just to keep it in perspective, I want to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts down below? Have you ever tried it? Because I love it. So in that same L'Oreal video, I busted out a new brush, the Morphe Jeffree Star brush. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. I 100% thought I would hate this. I was like, it's going to be awful. I don't like foundation brushes, but I have to test them out anyways, because what got me was Jeffree Star said it will be a streak-free finish. And I'm like, girl, you don't know my face. You don't know my texture. You don't know my life. I literally have never had, not one time, a completely streak-free finish with a brush. until this. This is such a good foundation brush, you guys. First of all, not only does it truly leave you streak free, which I am shocked by. Yes, there's a couple foundation that it does streak with, but that's probably the foundation more than it is the brush, because I do find that some foundations, as a lot of you will know, they only apply with a sponge or they only apply nice with a brush. So if that's the case, I'm never mad at it, because like that's the foundation, not the brush. But when it comes to the foundations, I've applied with this. Let me tell you, everything from this L'Oreal to the Pure one that I tested recently, the Pure 4-in-1 Selfie, I will link that up here. I have tested so many with this, including my favorites, the L'Oreal, the Dior's of the world. Like, I have had so many good applications with this. So guys, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Yes, it was blendable. Yes, it left me streak free and I loved it. And in that video, if you go back and watch when I first applied the L'Oreal, the first time I ever used this, it was so gorgeous. The way that this just like onto the, I'm telling you, it looked like I was literally painting a painting. It was so perfect on the skin. The application was flawless. But that aside, you know what else I love about this? It is the only foundation brush I've ever used that does not, nor has it ever, made my face itch, because I have autoimmune diseases. I talk about this stuff very openly. I have a ton of medical issues. I have a brain tumor, I have fibromyalgia, autoimmune diseases, other than that they can't diagnose, spinal disorders, whatever is going on there. My face does not like foundation brushes. They always make me itch. It doesn't matter which ones I've used, without a doubt. Even if I use them once or twice and it's fine, I tell you what, after 2 or 3 times, they make my face itch. This is the only one I've continued to use time and time again. Use it, wash it, doesn't matter if it's clean, dirty, whatever the case is, it doesn't make me itch. And for that, I am eternally grateful. This is such a good, fast way to apply your foundation. I love it. The coverage is great with it. And it's just, yeah, it's truly like it is the best foundation brush I've ever used. And I 1000% almost didn't pick up this kit. And I'm so grateful I did, because this brush is amazing. All right, so next up, we're going to move into glosses. I'm going to do these 2 first because I have a couple more, but these 2 are so similar and both so beautiful. So this is the Kylie gloss in Oh You Fancy. And then the other one is the Smashbox Hood Witch gloss that they did in collaboration in the shade Practical Magic, and I'm telling you, these are almost the exact same gloss. I know they look radically different in the tube, but look at these swatches. Like, the only slight difference is that the Hood Witch, when you get it in the reflection, which is this one, Kylie is over here, the Hood Witch has a slight little light pink reflect to it, and I don't even know if it'll totally show up on camera, but other than that, they are both a clear set base. They both have the same type of glitter kind of in there, a nice sprinkle of a little multi-dimensional, little multicolored gloss with like an offset of silver, so they both match really beautifully, especially the Kylie gloss. It can go nude lip, pink lip, purple lip, I don't care what your color is, this will match. The Practical Magic one from Smashbox, I can also do with any lip, but I typically leave it to the pink lips just because it does have that slight pink pull to it. But overall, these are so gorgeous. Very similar in viscosity as well. They're both a medium goop, what I would say. Like, they're not overly thick, overly formulated, overly opaque, nothing like that. Very on the clear spectrum with just a slight amount of reflect. So gorgeous. I love both the formulas. I have been a huge fan of the Smashbox Los Angeles glosses for quite some time, and so it's been kind of awesome to play around with this new collection a bit and just get to play with the formula all over again. So I've been having a blast with these 2. I have been also liking the other glosses from this collection, but this one was the standout for me. Okay guys, so now it's time for some eyeshadow, and let me tell you, I have been loving these palettes for a minute. So the first one I have here is the Riviera palette. Now I did put up I believe it was a product updates video. I'll link up here. I believe I talked about this in that video. This is such a nice palette, you guys. It's beautiful. Everything blends great. For me, what I gravitated the most was Monte Carlo, Coastline, Cabana, Estate, and Sales. Of course, the super easy, super wearable shades. But when they did it, girl, they did it right. These shades are so beautiful. Actually, several days this past month, I took the shade Coastline right here, which is such a great shade. And I worked it all over the lid, and it is the best shade. It's like a coral, burnt coral meets orange shade. I don't know how to describe it other than that. It is so beautiful. I can pop a shimmer on the inner eye, on the center of the eye, over top of it, doesn't matter. It looks so beautiful, and it's just an easy, effortless color to build, to buff, to blend. So good. And the other color in here that I was having a good time with as well was Cabana. I liked using this to blend out so many other colors. It didn't matter what palette I was working in. If I wanted just a light pop, like a dull yellow, which I know sounds like something the opposite of what you would want, like who wants a dull yellow? Well, sometimes when you're blending out a shade and you want something a little bit more subdued, it's so nice to have a dull mustard color, because you can go in and give yourself some brightness and some dimension without overdoing it and going, wow, bam, like bright yellow, you know? Sometimes it's nice to have that. And even these two shades together, I use those multiple times as well. So, so good. Same with the shade Sales out of here, this white shade. Oh my word, let me find a clean finger here. This shade is so rich in pigment. It blends onto the skin beautifully. And I have used this all over the lid in like a cut crease scenario. I used it to highlight, do like a dull brow bone highlight situation, inner of the eye. Doesn't matter where, but it maintains its brightness so, so nicely. And I've really just been enjoying that. Now, I know it's probably a shame to look at this palette and be like, wow, she used the 4 shades in here that are like the most dull. But when I tell you, like, I'm going to be honest, that's what I gravitated towards. The rest of the shades are great. They blend, they buff. I don't have any issues. But the shades I gravitated towards were the ones that were the most understated. And I personally feel like that shade Coastline right there was just such a beautiful, unique shade. Again, more of like a take on it where peach meets, burnt peach meets orange. Like, it's just so interesting. I don't know, but I love it so much, and I'm not gonna ever lie and tell you guys that like, oh yeah, I was way into the bright blues. No, I wasn't. I was into the neutrals out of here. I loved them a lot and I used them a lot. All right guys, so in that same video I talked about this. I can't tip it up all the way, but the Natasha Denona Biba palette. I love this so much. I have used it a ton ever since I got it, because it is the most beautiful, wearable, blendable palette in the entire existence. You can use it for a daytime look, you can use it for a nighttime look, you can deepen it up, you can do a smoky outer V and then a light eye, you can do a dark whatever. It doesn't matter what you do with this palette. It is going to blend and buff seamlessly. Favorite shades, like I said in that video, the shade Tone right here, which is, again, ironically enough, the one that falls out, but I love that shade. I really love the shade Pasha. I love, oh, Shine. Shine is a good one. I love all these shades. Prairie, and then what's my other, oh, Buff. Ooh, Buff is a great shade. Ooh, guys, let me swatch them. Let me just swatch them. Guys, just look at these colors. Are they not so beautiful to you? The shine and like reflect of this shade right here just absolutely kills me. And what I really love about this palette too is that it does cater to both directions. You don't get just warm or just cool. There's a nice little mix of both in here. I do have a full-on review of this, which I will probably have to link down below, because I think at this point I've used up all my links up top. But I will link down below the full-on review video I did of this palette, where I go through what they say it has versus what it really has as far as undertones, cool tones, warm tones, that sort of thing. But overall, this palette has just been such a nice everyday staple. Again, it's on the expensive side, so for 125 bucks, do I think you need it? You know, probably not. But if you're looking for a palette that is beautiful, blends amazing, it's not going to give you any trouble, this is such a nice option. Natasha Denona rides again, honey, and it is beautiful. Guys, I'm going to get into the last eyeshadow item I have here. Now, this is something, if you follow me on Instagram, which you definitely should be, in my stories, I've been talking about it a ton. I even put up a photo of me wearing it. I did a full video of it here on my channel, girl, the Laura Lee Single Shadow. Now, before we go any farther, I'm going to give you guys the 3 pieces of information. Yes, these were sent to me. They were my 3rd ever PR package and my 1st package ever from an independent brand, which I think is so awesome. So just to get that out of the way, I didn't pay for them, number 1. Number 2, yes, I did a full video of these. I will link it down below. And number 3, Laura and I are personal friends, so it is really cool that she sent it to me. However, I just want to make it painfully clear to you guys that I would never sit here and talk about a product, and I feel like most of you, like 99.9% of you know, I would never sit here and talk about something and say I love it if I didn't, say it was great if it wasn't. I wouldn't sit here and blow smoke up somebody's ass just for like a good time, because I got other stuff to do. And I feel like these shades are truly some of the most beautiful and most uniquely curated colors I've ever played with. Like, to the point where, you know how I was just talking about the Riviera palette and how I was really drawn to the subtle shades? And I don't think that's any shade to the palette, but I was drawn to the subtle shades because they were unique. And a lot of the shades in her Single Shadow collection are so unique. Something to where some of them I'm not gonna lie, I've had a hard time pinpointing why I love them so much, but I will give you some of my clear-cut favorites and why I love them. So the first one, oh my god, the first one, this shade Gimmick right here, it has the most beautiful green reflect. First of all, one swipe, one literal swipe. And I was actually concerned with this one in my skin tone. I was like, oh god, it's gonna make me look a little Kermity. I'm not gonna love it. The AC just kicked on. I apologize. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not, but I'm sorry if you can. But guys, this shade, when I tell you, all of my fears about it were whisked away when I used it. It is so beautiful, and the reason it looks so beautiful is the way that it pairs with other shades, because by itself it's beautiful. You could put it all over the lid, have yourself a party. I personally took this on Instagram, I think it was a week or so ago at this point, and I did an eye look with this and a couple other shades from the Single Shadow collection, and it blended into the other shades so beautifully. So this is another one I've been loving. This is the shade Subscribe. I just swatched it right there. This is such a beautiful, wearable, everyday shade. Oh my good word. I love this color so much. It's just like your standard matte shade, but it isn't matte to the point where it looks chalky. It's like a beautiful, I would almost say like a natural, what's the word? You know how with foundation you go like matte or natural or radiant? This is like a natural finish on your skin, and it looks beautiful, but it blends and buffs out like a perfect matte shade. It's magical. I love it so much. Guys, this shade right here, let's just talk a second. This is the shade Silver Clouds, and this shade, dare I say, it is stunning. Wham! I swatched it already because I got a little ahead of myself. Look at that color. Now on camera, it's not picking it up, but the reason this shade is so beautiful and so unique is it has a beautiful, subtle difference between silver to pink. Like it kind of casts itself in both directions, and I think you can kind of see it when I get the lighting just right. It has the slightest pale pink shift to it, and it looks so, so, so beautiful on the eye. And what I love about this one in particular is the way that it pulls on the eye goes off of whatever other undertones are with it. So if I put this with a pink crease or a light pink or a mauve, it really pulls that pink out. If I put it more with like a cool tone, the pink is there, but it's a little more subdued, and that silver kind of comes out a little bit more. Okay, now I don't want to sit here and like drone on and on about this for too long, but I added a couple of swatches. This is Vacay, which is a beautiful, vibrant, almost lime green style shade. Then we have Meow and Summertime. These are both matte shades, and I love them all so much. But like I said, I'm not going to sit here and go through this again because I do have a full video, which is linked down below, on what I love. This is more of an update on what I've been loving, why, and how I've just been really gravitating toward this. And also in that video, if you check it out, you'll get my thoughts and opinions on the price, the amount of product, and the magnetic palette that she also released as well. So overall, this is just such a huge hit with me. I love it. And you guys, that is it. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. Don't forget to leave me your month-end favorites and hate-its and everything down below. I love hearing from you guys down in the comments and getting to know what products you guys are gravitating towards. Any of these the same, different? What's the situation? What's the tea? Leave it all down below. And if you haven't done so yet, while you're down there, you can scuttle on up to my description box. My Instagram and my Twitter are linked in there. They are hyperlinks, so all you have to do is click the link and click follow. And mainly Instagram, I'm not gonna lie to you, that's where I spend the bulk of my time on social. I really love getting in there. I'm on my Insta stories a ton. It doesn't matter if I'm talking about a gel manicure, maybe I'm doing a foundation review in my Insta stories, whatever the case is, I do a ton over there. So definitely stay tuned and follow me over there if you like to see me more in the day-to-day kind of sense. Now, if Instagram is not your thing and you don't care about any of that, girl, I totally understand. Just make sure you subscribe and turn on your post notifications here on the wonderful world of YouTube, because y'all, I upload 5 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They go up bright and early between 6 and 7 a.m. my time here in Northern Michigan. What does that mean exactly? Well, I'll tell you. It means you're going to grab a cup of coffee, you're going to hang out with me, and I don't care if you're winding down from work because you just got off a third shift, or if you're trying to gear yourself up to go into work even though you don't want to. Even if you're getting the kids ready for school, you're getting the man ready for school, whatever it is that you're doing, girl, you can do it bright and early with me every single day, Monday through Friday. We have a good time. We talk about products that are new, old, things I love, things I hate, whatever the case is, we talk about it here bright and early Monday through Friday, and I just love getting to hang out with you guys. So don't forget to subscribe and turn on your post notifications. You guys, that is it. Thank you all so much for watching. Please do not forget to have a great day, night, weekend, whatever it is when you're watching this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Oh yeah, I do not think so, honey. We better zoom that in. Y'all can see my business, and it is messy. I'm feeling myself. I'm feeling my cheek. I'm feeling my highlight. I'm feeling my life. Ooh, ooh. Now, for those of you that don't know, no. Oh my God, why? I turn it this way, she looked crazy. So I fix it, right? I turn it this way, she looks crazy. What is going on?